10 learners, we are still looking at cost accounting. This is question number 5, a continuation from the question number 4 that we looked at. Okay. First of all, we are going to look at the concepts, and then after that we do the cost calculations. Okay, the first concept that is given, okay, we are given words here that we're supposed to match with the statement that are given below. Okay, 5.1.1, they say costs change according to the number of units produced. The costs that change according to the number of units produced, we call them variable costs. They are called variable costs. Okay, if they were fixed costs, they do not change according to the number of units produced. But these ones are variable because the more you produce, the more you are going to pay. The less you produce, the less you are going to pay also. 5.1.2, the cost of glass in the manufacturing of light bulbs is an example of what? That is direct material cost, because that is the most important part that makes up a bulb or a globe. Is the most significant part of a globe. Then that becomes what? Direct material cost. So our answer there is direct material cost. And then number 5.1.3, raw materials and direct labor used in the factory are equal to total of what? Costs. Okay, the direct material cost, the direct labor cost, when we add them together, they give us what you call the prime cost. The prime cost. Okay. And then 5.1.4, the salary of the factory supervisor is an cost. Remember, the supervisor is not actively involved in the manufacturing of the product, but is there in the factory. So those costs, we consider them to be indirect. We consider it to be indirect labor. Okay, we consider it to be indirect labor. The cost of the foreman, the salary of the foreman is indirect labor. Is not making the products, but is there where the products are being manufactured. Okay, those are the concepts. Let's move on now to 5.1.2. The information below relates to Mandy Moore, who sells hamburgers at a school's tuck shop at a profit markup of 80% on cost. Calculate the following cost items per day. The direct labor cost. Okay, we are given all this information from A. Mandy sells the hamburgers that are prepared daily. Note the profit markup is 80% on cost. B, the hamburger ingredients. Okay, we've got these ingredients, and then also we are given the other expenses. The first calculation that they want us to do is the direct labor. Okay, let's find out. Okay, who is actually making the pie? She is the one responsible for making the pies. And then how much is it actually being? Okay, there's a cousin. This cousin Jody is paid R2.50 per hamburger per day for making the hamburgers. Okay, fine. How many hamburgers are they actually going to make on a daily basis? Yeah, they buy 30 packets of hamburger meat patties. Okay, so it means that they make 30 hamburgers on a daily basis. Okay, so it's 30 hamburgers multiplied by the R2.50, and then also remember, in each 30 hamburger meat patties, and in each packet there are 10 packets. Okay, so anyway, there are 30 packets, but inside each and every packet there are also other 10 smaller packets. So to mean, if we want to find the number of burgers that are being made per day, we are going to say 30 multiplied by 10, which is going to give us something like 300. 300 is the number of pies that are made on a daily basis. Okay, now remember, we want to find the direct labor, and then here they said is R2.50 per hamburger. So we're going to say 300 multiplied by R2.50. 300 times R2.50. Let's go to our calculators. It will give us something like 750 rand. 750 rand. So this is our direct labor cost, the money that is given to the cousin for making the 300 pies. Okay. Number 2, the direct material cost. Okay, let's look at the materials that are needed to make the pies. All these costs are significant in making the pies. They are all needed. We cannot have the pie, we cannot have the hamburger, without all these ingredients. So we need 30 packets of hamburger meat patties. They said the amount is 2,680. Okay, so we are calculating the direct material. We have got 2,680 for the meat patties, plus, okay, we have got 25 dozen bread rolls at 15 rand per dozen. okay, 25 dozen bread rolls at 15 rand per dozen. So we're going to say 25 multiplied by 15, okay, and then we are also going to say plus the money for the lettuce, the tomatoes, and the hamburger sauce, 165, okay. 25 plus 25 times 15, 25 times 15 is going to give us 375. So here's 375, 375. So now we say 2,680 plus 375 plus 165. It will give us a total of 3,220. 3,220. That is our direct material cost. Okay, now the factory overheads. Oh, these are the other expenses that were incurred in the factory, okay, but they are not directly linked to the manufacturing of the product. Let's identify them, okay. So here we can see that, okay, fine, we've got the cleaning materials per day is 120. We have got an extra fee to the tuck shop cleaner, 40% of your daily allowance of 400, okay, and then we've got the daily rent for using the school tuck shop at 250 rent. Okay, so we're going to say 120 is for the cleaning material, plus the money for the rent is how much? Is 250 plus the amount that they said, okay, an extra fee to the tuck shop cleaner, 40% of the daily allowance, okay, of 400. So we're going to say 400 multiplied by 40%, okay, and then that amount that we get there is the one that we are going to add, 400, which is 160, okay, 160. So it's 120 plus 250 plus 160, our factory overheads, which will give us an amount of 530 rand. 530 rand. Okay, the total production cost. Okay, the total production cost, we are going to take the direct labor, the direct material, plus the factory overheads. Remember, the direct labor plus the direct material gives us the prime cost. When we get the prime cost, we add the factory overheads to get the total production cost. But we are just going to add them as they are. We are going to say 750 plus the direct material, which is 3,220, plus the factory overhead cost, which is 530 rand. Okay, it will give us a total. Let me go to my calculator. It will give us a total of 4,500. 4,500. Okay, so we are done with the total production cost, and then the cost per hamburger. Okay. So if ever the total production cost is 4,500, how many hamburgers were manufactured, by the way, according to our question? Remember, if you go back to the top, 30 times 10, which gives us 300. So it was 300 hamburgers. So we're going to say 4,500 divided by 300. 300 hamburgers. It will give us something like, let's go to our calculators again. It will give us something like the cost is 15 rand. 15 rand per hamburger. 15 rand per hamburger. Okay. Now the last part of on the calculations is the selling price per hamburger. The selling price per hamburger. The selling price per hamburger. Okay. We are going to look at the information that is given on A. Mandy sells all the hamburgers that are prepared daily. Not the profit markup is 80% on cost. So there is 80% that is added to the cost price. This one is our cost price. Our cost price is 15 rand. So we are going to say, okay, fine, in order to get the selling price, okay, the formula for calculating the selling price is equal to, okay, cost price plus markup. Cost price plus markup will give us the selling price. Okay, so here we've got the cost price percentage plus the markup. Okay, so we are going to say, okay, the 15 rand, which is our cost price, we are going to multiply by, remember we are given 80%. So if we say selling price percentage plus markup percentage, cost price percentage is always 100%. And then markup is 80%. Okay, so it's 100 plus 80, which gives us 180%. So they are sold at 180%. So it's 15 times 180%. Okay, it will give us something like 27. So the selling price is 27 rand. Another way of doing this calculation is to say 15 rand, the cost price, multiplied by the markup, which is 80%. 80%. Okay, 80% of 15, we are going to get something like 12 rand. Okay, so 12 rand is the markup. So when you get the markup, now you say 15 rand plus 12 rand, which will give us also 27 rand. So any of the calculation that you do will actually give you the same correct answer. Is either you do the first part or you do the second part. Okay. Okay, these are all the calculations anyway that you are supposed to do, your cost calculations. On this topic, the cost accounting or manufacturing, I expect you learners to collect most of the marks, because I see the calculations, they are just straightforward. There isn't anything that is hidden. Okay, and also remember to revise your concepts. Okay, all right. What is it that is left? Okay, we are left with number 5.2.2. Mandy is of the opinion that she can increase their profit by reducing certain costs. She has targeted direct material cost and factory overhead costs. What can she do to reduce the direct material cost? Yeah, I'm not going to write anything. I'll simply explain. The direct material, remember, there are many suppliers of raw materials. What she simply has to do is to look for a cheaper supplier of raw materials. Also, what she can also do is to find ways of negotiating for discounts whenever she buys in bulk from those suppliers. Then the cost of the direct materials can actually go down. Okay, on the factory overhead costs, remember one of the biggest costs is the rentals. She can also find another place where she can actually be able to make a price at a cheaper price, at a cheaper rental price. The other cost of the cleaner, instead of using the cleaner, she can always find another person who can charge a lesser amount to actually do the cleaning. Instead of hiring maybe someone from a company that does that, she can just find somebody who can actually charge a lower price to do the cleaning. Okay, that is all on cost accounting. Cost accounting is one of the topics that I truly believe that you are going to collect most of your marks in your examinations. That is all on this topic. Thank you so much.